habits. No negative vibes, only positive thoughts.
What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Mindset Cafe podcast. It's your boy Devin, and your other boy
Nick
is back. And today, while it is always with every live a Q&A, anything about personal development, anything about fitness, nutrition, we're your boys for it. Throw it in the comments, and we'll make sure to really touch in on it. But today's topic is the permission myth, right? And understanding that we want to tackle the mindset trap that holds back, honestly, just too many people, because we're so conditioned to seek validation, seek permission from others, learning more stuff to feel that we have more self-confidence and, the approval of others from knowing all this extra stuff, that it's a myth in terms of it's all in your head, right? So with that being said, make sure you guys, I want to start off by saying this, make sure you guys let people know that on Fridays, sometimes Saturdays, depending on if we send it in the chats. But Friday nights we go live. And so make sure you let people know so they can tune in, and then they can help themselves grow. Because if you let your circle grow, you are the people that you surround yourself with. So if your people you're surrounding yourself with are here improving themselves, it's only going to help you improve, right? Right, Nick?
That is right. But you were saying that, like, the thought that was in my head genuinely was the first sentence you said is like, we were the boys. It's just that Wiz Khalifa song, we the boys.
All right.
But yes, I agree 100%.
So let's dive into a little bit, because honestly, there's so many people out there that are just waiting to take that big step. And whether it is waiting for permission from others, waiting for permission from yourself, it's you're the only person that's holding you back from reaching your full potential, from reaching your goals. So first and foremost, if you are a person that does need that external permission, I'm giving it to you. Nick's giving it to you. Take action. The right time is now. So let's dive in a little bit. What, you want to go?
No, I was going to say, throw it at me, bro. I know you're about to throw it at me. I got you right here.
No, so let's just talk about the concept in general, right? The false belief, essentially, that we need approval from others, right? From others, from taking action, from achieving a goal, from starting a business, from, starting their fitness journey. And whether it's because you've tried it one time and it didn't work out, and so now you don't know if you should try it again, or if it's the first time and you just are hesitant and you're waiting for someone else to give you that push, to go down the slide because you're too scared to do it yourself, right? So what are your thoughts on that? Like, just the general concept of waiting for someone to give you permission to take action.
So, to me, there's like waiting for that permission comes from two avenues. It can come from two avenues. Like the first avenue is that external, like, coming from society, social media, other people, whether it's things that we've tried to do in the past, or something that we want to start, or that we've tried before and it didn't work out exactly how we wanted, or even things that we see, like, again, like with the times that we live in now, it's like what, social media, or what people think is, socially appropriate or not. It kind of puts a limit on ourselves mentally. We put that limit on ourselves, thinking that, it's not okay to do something, or, it's, you're holding yourself back, from taking action, because it may not seem appropriate to everyone else, or you feel like you're going to get judged by everyone else for trying, right? That's one avenue of it to me. The other avenue is your own self-permission. Maybe, like you said, it's like maybe you've tried certain things in the past, whether it be related to anything. If you set a goal or whatever, fitness, health, career, even bettering yourself in any way, but you didn't succeed the first time and you failed, and maybe it made you feel some type of way, because like that disappointment, or you're afraid to try again, which does happen to a lot of people, especially in like health and fitness background, because like we all know we can all relate to that time where we might have set to achieve a milestone or try to get somewhere with our health and fitness, and it didn't work out, or we didn't achieve it right away. And it's like, you want to try again, or you still have that goal in mind, but you're internally you're afraid, and you're not giving yourself that permission you know, to try again or to step further beyond your current comfort zone, you know, which you need to break in a sense. You know, I mean, those are my two takes on the main two avenues that, you know, that for us that we seek permission to, you know, do something is like the external and then the internal.
No, definitely. I mean, it's tough because if it comes from external, in my opinion, like if it's coming from an external source, it's easier to tune that out than if it's coming from within yourself, right? Because at the end of the day, while you should be your biggest fan, you're also going to be your biggest critic. And you have to realize that sometimes you have to prove it to yourself, just like you have to prove it to others. You know, when we opened a business, you know, did we believe in ourselves? 100%. But did we have doubt? 100%. You know, there's two sides to that coin. It's like you have, like some people say, like you have to have a delusional self-belief, and that is necessarily the case in a lot of cases, because the reason it's delusional is because you also know that it's not guaranteed. As much as you want it, as bad as you try, it might not work the first time, but that's okay, because it might work the second time, or the third, or the 10th, right? So you just got to get back on the horse and try again, right? But a lot of it comes from too, like, you know, like where are the root causes of this, you know, for people, right? Like, is it from your family bring up? Is it from, you know, you lived in a rigid household and, you know, you were expected to be a certain way, expected to do certain things. So now you're living your life according to that expectation of from when you were a kid, right? You're not a kid anymore, right? If you can make your own decisions, that's it. Then do it. Make your decision. It's your life. At the end of the day, the only one that it will have regret on not taking action is you, right? All those external expectations are just that. They're external expectations, just like their external voices, their external pressures and stuff. And you can let it weigh on you, or you can let it not. But the choice is yours. Choose wisely.
You sound like a commercial, but and I think when we think about, you know, the term,
but wait, there's more.
I bet there is. No, but like if we think about the word approval, right? It's like breaking it down a little bit more. It's like we're asking you know, is probably not the best word, but you know, we're seeking the okay, like the green light. You know what I mean? But like you said, it's like at the end of the day, whatever we're trying to do or trying to accomplish, it's like that green light should come from you internally. You know what I mean? What? What?
I don't know. Keep going. You're on a roll.
No, I thought you were gonna say something. Okay, so with
green light.
What?
Your internal green light. You won.
Oh yeah, so your internal green light. It's no matter what, even if it's like external things that that's coming from the outside, from other people, or that we're afraid to step out of like what most people seem, you know, kind of appropriate, or you know, people like doubting you and stuff like that. It's like that's not telling you that you can't do something. That's not them telling you, not giving you permission to do something, right? It's you have to give yourself that thumbs up, like, hey bro, like even if you do fuck it up, or you know what I mean, like that's okay, because that's
fuck it up.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. You got to keep fucking it up until you make it, until you succeed, you know. And I think that's like the biggest takeaway. It's like you said earlier, it's like once you set it in your mind internally first, that is the permission you're most of us are seeking. But then that's when like we start to overthink or take everything else into consideration, and it's like a snowball effect. Then it starts to take effect on your action, and like it hinders you from taking, you know, that daily steps and that you're supposed to be taking, because in the back of your mind you're thinking of that permission, that the external permission that was never there to begin with, that shouldn't have been there to begin with, at least.
Right.
You know what I mean? So and actually I wanted to ask, like, well, for people that are watching, it's like, you know, to try to get them engaged, it's like, name a time that, okay,
2 sentences.
Yeah.
Oh, about to be here 3 minutes. Explanation. Name 3 times, but then if 4 times, 5. You know,
name a goal or a time that you, okay, I already messed it up. Or you don't try to go with it already. Name a time that you asked for you felt like you needed permission on something.
Name a time that you felt like you needed permission to take action. There you go.
There you go.
See, we're getting better at this.
Yeah.
We're getting better at
Drop
this.
it in the comments. Don't be afraid.
You know,
We give you permission to do that.
yeah. You know, for me, it's like, you know how some kids, like, they like to take things apart and figure it out, or as a kid you like to take things apart and to figure out how things work.
Yeah.
Like for me, like as you were saying that too, like it popped up in my head of like, sometimes, like you were saying, you have to fuck it up, but sometimes you have to break it to figure out why it works and how it works, right? And so failing, or, you know, learning, as we say, isn't always the prettiest process. There's a lot of things that are discouraging because you thought everything was going right, and then you fucked something up, you broke something, but now you know that the machine doesn't work that way. So you put the piece back and you try a new piece, right? And so it's almost like a puzzle, right? You know, fuck, man. Like Gabby and I have been trying to do this like 1,000-piece puzzle. And there's a lot of pieces that. And
how many piece puzzle was it?
1,000, and it might stay unsolved. To be honest, I even had a moment where I was like, when they're out of town for New Year's, I was like, you know what, it'd be so cool, like finish this puzzle, and then they come home and it's like, boom, did it. Spent 3 hours, and then I was like, yo, fuck this. I think I got 5 pieces. Now that I'm over it. But what I was saying is that, like, you spend time when you're doing a puzzle, like looking at a bunch of the pieces that look the same, and you're sitting there and you're trying to put it in and it didn't work. So you put it down, you grab the next one, try it again, put it in, didn't work. And so that's the analogy that you have to take to success. Sometimes you have to continue to find the next puzzle piece that looks right, but it might not be the exact fit, right? You know, and so if you understand that it's going to take you a few puzzle pieces to figure out what works for your journey, then you already know that's part of the process, is figuring it out, breaking it a little bit, understanding that this didn't work. I will say though, in terms of puzzles, actual puzzles, we were further along, and Gabby was moving it from like the living room and putting it on a shelf, hit the doorway.
Oh God, it fell apart.
Half of it, and I was like, oh, and we don't have that half back. Like it's that part's still again unsolved. So going into what you were saying about green light though, because I mean it's an interesting way to put it, right? Because red light means stop, right? But
calm down, Squid Games.
But honestly, it's that's giving yourself permission, and really that just understands that, like, that's you understanding that everything begins and ends with your mindset, like we've talked about. You know, and so for you to get that green light, you have to, even if right now you're telling yourself it's not possible or whatever, you just need to shift that lens and realize it is possible. You know, when I'm interviewed on other podcasts, they always ask like, what is the saying, or what, you know, what's something you would like to leave the audience, whatever. And one thing I like to say each time, because it always like gets the reaction, is you're not special, right? You're not special enough for it not to work for you, but to work for everyone else on the planet and be a possibility for everyone else. You're not that special, right? And so understanding that, if you think about that, you understand that it is a possibility. You now have your own green light, right?
Yeah. And actually another, like, I guess, good example, or at least another perspective on, you know, permission that I just thought of as you were saying that, is here in the gym. Like, you know, if you guys aren't too familiar with our gym, like obviously, or any gym, new people come in and try a gym if they're looking for a new program that they want to join, right? And or they're looking to work out somewhere else. But point being, at certain times we do get people that come into the gym, you know, whether it's a man or woman, whatever, and they try the gym, and then when they're done with their workout, we do show them like the membership options, right? And then we go over the benefits and the value of the program, and like most specifically how it's going to benefit them and how it's going to help them solve, you know, their issue or their problem, right? How it's going to be the best investment for themselves. And half the time, or maybe sometimes, that the objection that the person comes up with is, I have to ask for permission. You know, they don't necessarily say it like that, but that's how they deliver it to. I have to ask permission from my spouse or my significant other, right? Now, when they do say that, like, my first thought, like, at least that I try to communicate with them, is that, okay, so I definitely get it, you know, that you want to consult with your partner, your husband or your wife, because that's an important thing. But just to make sure, like, are you looking to get their permission to you know, to join a program that's going to benefit you and you know, work on your health and be the best move for you? Or are you looking for more support? Right. And I think it's that words, the two differentiating words of permission and support. Because sometimes when we think to ourselves, like, you know, that we're looking for support or validation, I'm sorry, permission or validation to do something, or is it really internally, if you think about it, we just want, like, encouragement or support from mainly from ourselves, or even from an external factor, like, you know, surrounding yourself with the right kind of group. You know what I mean? It goes both ways, because if you're always surrounding with yourself with people, or your crowd is like, any decisions or anything, any goals that you set for yourself, or you're trying to do something, and the actions that you're doing are in the productive manner, and then your environment is just tearing you down, and then that makes you feel like you don't have approval or permission, that in a sense is like, you just don't have the right support, right? And I think that that's what creates that hinders you from making progress. Or that's where you feel like, damn, like, I don't have permission to be the best me. I don't have permission to be great. You know what I mean? So that's
Strive for greatness.
exactly. It's like, and I think that that's a big part of it, where it's like that word support is like, kind of ties in with that permission aspect. It's like, if it's an external thing that you feel like is, you know, playing a big part in you being held back or something, it's like, well, you're just not putting yourself in the right group that's supporting you. You know, or within yourself, it's like, you feel like you're not giving yourself permission to do something, or to step outside of your comfort zone. Maybe that's from, like you said, it could be from your upbringing, or maybe that's from you failing in the past. Let's just say, for like a lot of people, it's like, oh, you've been, new year, new me. It's like, this is my best year. I'm going to, you know, lose however many pounds, you know, whatever. And it's like a couple months down the road, you fail because like, you were kind of falling back into that mentality that, damn, this is what I've done every single time. Every single year I told myself I was going to do this, and I didn't follow through with it. And that, because that's the constant habit that you've created, that's what your mentality is approving you to do, is giving you that approval to take that easy way out and to fail again. But I think if you actually sit down and talk to yourself, like, all right, well, am I going to support or permit myself to just keep failing? Or do I really want to support myself in breaking that mold and achieving the goal that I want to achieve?
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it comes from society, though, and how we're brought up. Like, if you think about it, like school, right? I'm not saying school's bad, but school, like, you have to raise your hand before you can speak. You have to ask for permission to speak. You have to ask permission to go to the bathroom. You have to ask permission, you know, so it's like, already from a young age, and it's not that, you know, that is because it creates order, I get it, but it's like, it's also on the tail end creating approval seeking. You work for a company, before you do something that's outside of your scope of practice, or outside of your job details, or something that's just out of the norm, you have to get approval from a manager, right? And again, even though there's a reason behind it, it's still that approval seeking, validation, and so forth. And that can start to let you view things in a certain way, or have it in your mindset that you do need to get approval for things that are outside norm, right? Even social media, right? For example, we don't need approval to post something, but what is the approval that we're seeking when we do post something? It's likes, it's comments, it's shares. And so when we get likes, we get comments, and we get shares, that's the approval that our social media likes it, and approves of it. So then we're like, okay, this is good. We'll do this. And then all of a sudden something doesn't go right. And now you start second guessing everything. And you're like, should I post something different? Should I try again? No one liked that last post. So it's like every form or fashion in your day has an act of basically approval, you know, in one way or another. But taking action on your goal or taking action on a dream doesn't need to come from anywhere, right? That's all you. It's your life. It's your journey. Like, again, people approve of it or don't approve of it is their limiting beliefs on themselves, right? They don't want to see you outshine their growth. You know, someone had mentioned, I don't know if I brought this up before, so if I did, listen again. You know, it's like the saying I used to say. It's like, they're like, oh, you said that. Oh, I said it. Oh, then so I said it twice. You know,
third time.
No, or you know, like, oh, you know, do you stutter? If I stuttered, I said it twice. You know, but I posted something the other day on a story, and it was along the lines of, you know, people that are successful want to bring other people up and basically give them a helping hand. And that's how you know that those people are of value and so forth. And then one of my friends had messaged me back, and he's basically said, I agree with that, but there's also another side to that coin. And it's basically that out of those people that are reaching out to give you a hand to pull you up, will do so in a manner until you start to get to their level. And then they don't want you to get above them, or even, you know, they want to be superior. So again, realizing that outside validation or external validation can limit you, even if other people are giving you the support now. If you start to surpass them, it could work against you, right? So knowing that is the double-sided coin right there, it all just comes back down to you. It doesn't matter what other people think. It doesn't matter what you normally do, right? When we first started going live and first started doing videos and stuff like that, and when we first opened the gym, you know, we agreed that I would start making videos and try to, you know, get on social media presence more. And there was a lot of times where before I posted it, even myself, I was like, damn, what are people going to think about this? Does this video look good? Does this, you know, is this going to resonate with people? Does it sound intelligent? Right? And so you start thinking about all these things, all in worry or fear of what are my friends, what are my family going to think? Because this is not normally who I am. And then all of a sudden you start doing it for long enough, and then people are just like, oh yeah, that's them. You know, that's who they are, right? So realize that sometimes others will give you that, you know, that validation. Sometimes they won't, until you start accomplishing it, and now they're in your corner rooting for you because they already see the success. And at the end of the day, whether they're there, whether they're not, and you're a lone wolf, doesn't matter, because it's your goal. It's not theirs.
Yeah. Right. And that, like you said, with kind of, I guess, that crabs in a bucket mentality. You know, like people like want to help you to a certain extent, but they don't want you to overdo them. I think that goes into like that growth, and that's why it's important for you to understand and for us to solidify that primary foundation, that whatever you're trying to chase after, or whatever you're trying to do, that yes, it is within yourself. Because once you are, even if you are getting external, you have that current right group of friends or environment that's helping you and pulling you up, that when that time does come and you are going to exceed them, you have to like be able to detach, you know what I mean? And not be too, what is it called?
Attached.
Yeah, pretty much, like not too, you know, chained up to them, or at least like your mentality be like, damn, like they helped me do this, and it's like I can't let them go or anything like that. Because like just knowing like when it is time for you to move on to your next tier, because like we talked about last time, it's like your goals are never ending. It's like the point of the whole damn thing, your life, is an endless time. I don't know about endless, but it's like a time horizon, you know? It's like it just keeps going until you're done. But so with that being said, it's like you reach certain milestones and you're going to come across different environments or people around you. And it's like when you surpass the time frame that you're supposed to be around those people, it's okay to let go. let it go. And
You just got to be like Rose on that Titanic and be like, there's not enough room on this big ass board. Sorry.
First of all, that door was big enough for both of them.
Yeah. She was just like, oh no.
Exactly.
But that's what you got to do. And honestly, it goes into like surrounding yourself with permission givers, right? And not that they're always constantly being like, I give you permission to believe in yourself. No, like people that are also achieving their goals, their dreams, right? So you surrounding yourself with people that are on their own journey and trying to better themselves, they're naturally going to want you to better yourself because they want to surround themselves with like-minded people, right? I don't want to hang around with someone that's just complacent and, I'm just, sitting here eating Twinkies and ho-hos on the couch. Like, I'm sorry, that doesn't do anything for me. And you're not bringing
Girl
value.
Scout cookies.
I didn't say that for a reason. All right? I'm gonna go there.
She's not watching right now, so
I wasn't saying that. I was like, no, that shit's hit.
Sorry, Patty.
That shit's hit. But no, it's one of those things where you realize that you surrounding yourself with like-minded people is surrounding yourself with permission givers, right? Other people that are doing what you're doing or doing what you're doing in another, form or fashion, like they want you to also take action on your dreams because they're doing it. And if you start succeeding, you're a living proof and testament to that it is a possibility to achieve your dreams, which only refuels them in their aid or in their goal and pursuit of their dreams, because they know that, yes, I may not have achieved it and you did, right? Even though they're different goals, but that's okay because no one guarantees when your timeline is going to be, right? And so just because, a friend got more success than we did, that just shows you those other levels are possible, right? And so it's like, that just pushes us even harder. But with surrounding yourself with other permission givers and so forth, realize that sometimes you have to take action first and the validation will just come. Like you don't need to seek the validation. Validation is given to people that achieve, right? And sometimes you even have to you'll give yourself validation once you've achieved it, right? I guarantee, for example, when we first opened the gym, you may not have thought you were a business, like you knew you're a business owner, but you wouldn't probably consider yourself the business owner like you are today, right? Like a true business owner, right? In your mind, you're like, on paper, I am a business owner, I am an entrepreneur, but I don't feel like one, right? So there's almost like that imposter syndrome, like you start battling within yourself. All of a sudden, day after day, it starts compounding, and you're like, well, yeah, I am a business owner. Like, I got this, right? And that's not saying that you know everything. That's just you've built enough belief in yourself to know that that's who you are now. And so you've given yourself that validation. And realize that sometimes you just have to take action and then adjust as you go, right? You don't have to have the perfect plan. You don't need to have the perfect strategy because there isn't one. And even if you have one that you think is perfect on paper, once you get the doors open or you get started on that journey, shit hits the fan. 9 times out of 10. In one way or another, something is going to go wrong. It's not in your business plan. It's not in your fitness plan. And now you're like, oh man, if I'm only reading this, then I don't know what to do. You adapt and you keep moving forward, right?
Yeah, and that comes with the whole growth mindset. Is that I think people, the waiting for that perfect moment is the approval or the permission that they're waiting for, and kind of not remembering that, like, bro, it's life. Like, as simple as it sounds, it's like, bro, period. Like, that's it, period. It's like, it's life. Like, it's never, however you draw, your roadmap to success is not exactly how it's going to be. That's not exactly how it's going to go. You're going to take so many damn detours. You're going to get like hit with a fucking avalanche and you're going to get in a car accident and shit like that. But you know what I mean? It's like, but it's learning to adapt, but the permission is there to keep going, to work around and get over the things that you come and face with. That those things aren't there to give you permission to stop. It's just giving you permission to keep going, to learn the lessons that you need to learn to keep going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I want to just like stop right there just real quick because it made me think of something to aid what you're saying. you know, they say like when someone's dreaming, right, and they're trying to see if they're awake, that you pinch yourself and it fucking hurts, and then you're like, oh, I'm awake. Sometimes obstacles are put in front of you to remind you you're on the path. Sometimes things need to break to remind you that this game isn't a proven, you know, steady road, that you're in it right now, right? That you have to be attentive, you have to be intentional about what you're doing, when you're doing it, how you're doing it, and take adaptive action as it comes. And when things start to go right and you start getting complacent, you'll get your reality check, right? And so one of the kind of funny things that we like to always say, like, to each other is like, you know, you good? And it's like, you know, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. And it's that like Dory from Finding Nemo, because sometimes that's what it feels like. Like you literally just don't know which is the right direction. But if you keep swimming, something will come along, you know?
Right. No, that 100%. And that's like, especially when you're, you know, in the trenches, as like some people call it, like when you're in the thick of it, like, you know what I mean? Like, bro, like I get it. Like for most people, especially whatever you're going through, like it could be health or fitness, especially if, you know, you're like in a major deficit and you're just working your ass off, or if you're even like career, financial, relationship, anything, like it can feel like the world is ending sometimes, you know? And the thing is, that's okay. Because at the end of the day, like, what are you going to do about it? You know, that's the only question that really comes up. Is it, you're going to give yourself, what permission are you going to give yourself? Are you going to sit there and do nothing and just, you know?
I mean, I think it comes down to almost like this trap of people telling themselves, you know, someday I'll open a business.
Yeah.
Someday I'll do this. Someday I'll do that. Someday I'll get started. Someday I'll reach out to a trainer. Someday, whatever. Right? It's like, no, you fucking won't. Right? Because you have to think, if you're going to make a decision, an important decision or a big decision or a life-changing decision, right? Whether it's starting in your fitness journey, whether it's opening a business, whether it's, you know, talking to a friend about something important, and you give yourself that someday excuse, things only get worse with time. Not in how hard it will be, but how hard it is to get started or to take action on it, because all these other what ifs and all these other excuses start to compile and compound, where you could have been compounding your results of just taking that first step. So someday you know, you want to start a business, you know, you need more, you know, finances. Instead of reaching out to a lender and figuring out and setting a game plan, because it still might be someday, but at least now you have an end date. You have a goal, a path that you can follow to get to that someday, right? But reaching out to that lender, reaching out to that strategist or whatever the case is, if you're telling yourself someday you'll talk to that person, like, we both know you're not going to do it, right? If you say someday you're going to, you know, open a business, someday you're going to start your fitness journey, it's really, it's no day.
Yeah.
Right? It's not, I didn't say snow day, I said no day.
Yeah.
You powder puff bitch.
If you get offended, I mean, that just should tell you you're, you know, it's hitting the nerves for a reason. I think, honestly, it may sound like extreme or anything, but I think for people, it's like, if the goal means that much to you, if it's something you really want to like attain, you know, even honestly, like using our example here in like you know, in the health and fitness, it's like, you know, some people are doing great, you know, and they're making progress and stuff like that, but are they where they really want to get? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you set like a real good goal that you know is going to take some elbow grease, you know what I'm saying? It's like, why are you not either there, or why aren't you taking like the steps you need to take to break the current plateau that you're on? You know what I mean? And I could be like, you could be a person that's working out every day and you're doing great and you're putting up the consistency, but is there more room for growth? You know, well, like maybe that's hindering you, or you're waiting for permission or approval to get to that next level, to that next tier. And maybe some people, those people are thinking like, you know, I'm going to start, I'm doing great, I'm doing fine, but like, you know, I'm going to get there one day. I'm going to start on it, that, you know, at some point, maybe this year, maybe next year, you know. But bro, like, you know, if you keep, like you said, if you keep telling yourself that, it's like, you know, I highly doubtful. You know what I mean? To me, it's like, again, like if that goal means that much to you, you know, that Eric Thomas, the dude that said, if you want to be successful as bad as you want to breathe, if like you're underwater.
No,
Trying to butcher that.
so there was a pastor that was basically giving a speech, and he said, you know, basically Eric Thomas said, I went up to him and said, I want to be successful. He's like, okay, you want to be successful?
There it is.
Meet me at the beach at 5 a.m. He said, 5 a.m. Like I want to be successful. I want to be rich. I want to make some money. He's like, all right, I'll be at the beach at 5 a.m. Showed up in a suit, tie, thinking, he's gonna teach me some financial secrets. And he said, you want to be successful? You want to be rich? Walk out into the water. He's like, man, this guy's crazy. Like, wants me walking out in the water. I'm dressed up in a suit and everything like that. He said, walk out in the water if you want to be successful. So he walks out in the water. He's like, okay, I'm like knee deep right now. He's like, walk a little further. He's like, man, I'm thinking about walking back in. He's like, this dude's crazy. But you know what? I walked in a little bit further. Now we're chest deep. And then he pushes my head down underwater and he holds it. And just before I, basically pass out, he lets me up. And I gasp for air and he goes, what were you thinking about underwater? And then my response was to breathe. He said, when you want to be successful, as bad as you wanted to breathe, then you'll be successful.
The fact that you memorized that, bro, is just so, and honestly, I know it's exactly like that because it sounds so familiar, but that's crazy how you remember that. But I think in that same sense, like, if we're drowning, like if you guys were physically drowning,
and fucking swim back up.
Yeah, that's what no, exactly. That's exactly it. No one's giving you, you're not waiting for someone to give you approval to fucking get up and breathe. You know what I mean? Like, if it's like you're giving yourself permission, it's like, what are you going to do? Like, you're going to get the fuck up and like get some air. If we tackle and like approach all our goals and the actions that we take working towards our goals in the same manner, that the only thing you're waiting, the only thing that really matters is you and what you decide to do. I think more people will, like a lot of people will make more or take bigger progressive steps, and especially in like, the way they take action, and especially on a daily basis on what they were actually trying to attain.
Yeah. I mean, Mel Robbins basically has this method or this theory, which is the 5-second rule, right?
You pick it up and eat it.
I know you're germaphobe ass, so wouldn't do that.
I'll pick it up and throw it away. The fuck?
But no, the 5-second rule is essentially, if you want to do something before hesitation sets in, you basically count down from 5 and then you just take action, right? Because hesitation sets in fairly quick, but you have to let your brain process it and start to come up with the what ifs and why nots and so forth. So all of a sudden, if you start counting down from 5, then you start internalizing the actual numbers, the next number, and then you stop focusing on the reasons why, or the why it's not going to work and what will happen if this. And so now you're focusing on the counting, and then you just do it. Sometimes it's better just to jump in the water, and then you realize it's fucking freezing. Mm-hmm. But then you adapt, you fucking swim, right? Because you're in the middle of the pool now.
No, yeah, I really like that actually. Like you count, counting down from 5, and just the thought process of it, that you're distracting your brain from thinking of all the overthinking. So you're distracting your brain from overthinking and all the other shit that can go wrong. So you're concentrated on something else, counting down, and then right when that hits 1, you're immediate on your action. So it hinders your brain from fucking going haywire and thinking of all the other shit.
Yeah.
A famous person once said, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, level up.
Sierra.
There might be a reason why she said that in the lyrics. You know what I mean? Because after you count down from 5, you start to level up because you just took action. You didn't distract yourself from any other external factor that you don't even know was going to fucking happen.
Yeah, you're just like, level up. No, I mean, honestly, like it is a good little strategy. It is a good method to use.
G said, no, you didn't. Oh, yes, I did.
That was actually one of my wedding songs, like me and Gabby like did a mix up, and it was like the first one was like a slow song, and then all of a sudden we did that, and then both of us were like dancing side by side, like facing
You have a
forward.
video?
I do.
Oh man, I gotta see.
I have to find it, but yeah. And then we went from like that, and then we went to like salsa, and then we went back to like the slow one. But honestly, it's sometimes you have to distract yourself to not let the excuses come in. But the important thing at the end of the day is that you're still just taking action, knowing that you're still scared. So that's why it's of a value. That it's scary doing things that are going to change your life. It's scary trying to improve yourself. It's scary, you know, going into a gym in it being intimidating. Guess what? That's why some people achieve it, others don't, but always want to and dream of it, but never take action because they let that fear basically hold them back. But if you can drown out the fear for a second, knowing that even when you're in it, it might come back, but you're already in it, so you're already there. Just, you know, let your body adapt, right? It's like jumping in the cold pool. If you stay there long enough, it doesn't feel cold anymore, right? Same thing with fear, right? It's only scary leading up to it, but once you're in it, then you're in it. And then you just adapt and you acclimate to basically your surroundings.
Yeah. And honestly, when you said that, I thought of like another good, you know, example that maybe people can hopefully resonate with. The movie Pursuit of Happiness, bro, with Will Smith. First of all, one of my favorite fucking movies. Such a great movie. But like, think about like that part in the movie where he, you know, he had that interview set up, you know what I mean? And he shows up in a beat up ass suit. If you think about it, like how we carry ourselves on a normal basis, like especially in a case like that, it's like most people are like, damn, like they wouldn't think they have permission or approval to show up to an interview looking like beat up and shit. But him understanding his current life situation and that his actions and how him and his son's like life is literally depending on him. You know what I mean? He wasn't looking for external permission to like, oh, I can't show up to an interview in a broken down suit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like him giving himself that permission, like, no, I need this and I'm gonna fucking do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then executed and got the job done, you know, with his skill. It's like, I think that mentality is what, you know, needs to be exercised in every avenue in everybody's life. Cause that's why it's one of my favorite movies. Cause it's like, it's crazy how from like, if your mindset is in the right place, and that's the crazy thing. I think it's like a double-sided coin. It's like hitting that rock bottom. It's like when your back is against the wall, that's when you're like just all in. You know what I mean? And I think like that's how tackling all our goals and like the things that we do in our pursuit has to be. It's like it always has to be like your back's against the wall because technically it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I mean, pressure builds diamonds for sure. And sometimes you just have to show up with what you have when you can, right? And sometimes that is enough. The majority of the times that is enough. You can always get a new suit later, but showing up is the hardest part. Even showing up to the gym to work out, the hardest part for some people is literally, and I could say myself even included, sometimes just pulling up and parking for your workout because you're tired, because there's so many other things you could be doing. That's the hardest part. But then once you're in it, you're like, okay, cool. It's not as bad. And then you start to, you know, adjust. But that movie is a great movie. And it shows you that you don't have to be an expert or know everything, how to achieve the goal. You take action with what you know, and then you can learn as you go and basically adjust and grow as you go along that path. Right. But, you know, with that being said, guys, we give you permission, take action. If you have a goal, if you have a dream, if you believe it, you can achieve it. But no, we give you permission, honestly. And so we don't give you permission to take action. We give you permission to give yourself permission. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what we say, whether we give you permission or not. It only matters that you believe that you have permission. So with that being said, we appreciate you guys. We love you guys. We believe in you. Until next time.
Later.
No negative vibes, only positive thoughts. Just in the game of life, mindset calls the shots. Got my mind on the prize, I can't be distracted. I stay on my grind, no time to be slacking. I hustle hard, I go against the current, cause I know I'm the